was not happy that India was buying oil from Russia.
हमने इंडिया को बोला that don't buy Russian oil and India complied, and now we are giving India permission to buy Russian oil.
You know, if Trump says tomorrow that we are allowing Aditi to a 30-day window to buy her, sari, would you say कि हाँ thank you so much Trump, आपने अगर आप नहीं कहते तो मैं साड़ी नहीं खरीद? Well, it's like a nonsensical argument. Americans can say whatever they want. We are allowing this window. We've never stopped buying Russian oil. In fact, till a week ago, we were buying almost 1.1 million barrels a day. Of course, it is less than what we were buying 6 or 7 months ago. They are traditionally one of the most modern warships from the Iranian Navy, and they carry a lot of surface-to-air missiles, anti-ship missiles, and so many other things, torpedoes. They left our shores. हमारा जो maritime border है, उसको छोड़ दिया उन्होंने. हमारा जो EEZ है, economic zone है, उसको छोड़ दिया उन्होंने. They were in international waters. अब Indian Ocean is not India's ocean. We control only 3.2% of the Indian Ocean total territory. 97.2% or 97.8% is not in our legal control. उस area में ये ship था. It was hit by not us, by its enemy currently at war. It did not send an SOS to us. How the hell are we responsible?
You're watching Sunday Scrutiny with Anand Ranganathan, a show where we cut through the noise and examine the facts behind the headlines. Welcome to the show, Anand. How are you and how's your day going?
Hi, Aditi. Good morning. Absolutely fantastic and great to be on this show. And can I just say that I think all of us, including me, the viewers and the people who come on shows are tired of the scripted, shows that go on. So let's make this completely bindas, no holds barred. और मेरा एक ही असूल है, जेल जाऊंगा तो साथ लेके जाता हूँ लोगों को.
Oh, is that a threat to me? But fine. Okay, just for the viewers and, to cut through the noise and provide some context to what we're talking about today. This week, India saw itself getting inadvertently dragged into the Middle East conflict. One, because an Iranian naval frigate was torpedoed by a US submarine in India's maritime neighborhood. Two, India's measured and subdued response to the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei triggered a political debate at home. And three, the anxiety over the oil prices as the West Asia conflict threatens to disrupt global energy routes. Now, add to all this, Anand, the social media chaos where half-truths, speculation and outright misinformation are spreading faster than facts are running. So, three questions we're going to pick up today. One, is India running out of oil? Did India stop buying Russian crude at the behest of the United States? And did the US effectively turn India's maritime neighborhood into a war theater, so to speak?
Right.
So let me start with oil, something that is very close to oil, and affecting every Indian household eventually. There is, of course, there's this whole conversation about India having just 25 days of oil left. How much of it is panic and how much of it is reality?
Well, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I speak as a layman, even I'm not an expert on anything, in fact, leave alone science as well, as COVID taught us. So, this thing about we have only 20 to 25 days of, oil reserves, that is strictly SPR, I think, strategic petroleum reserves. It extends to, other non-strategic reserves as well. So we can stretch it for about, as people say, about 50 days. So twice of what people are saying. But I don't think it will come to that. Of course, prices would rise. No doubt about that. I mean, there's a war going on, for heaven's sake, so obviously contingencies have to be made and things have to be accommodated. But if we were to, kind of analyze this beyond the layer of, oh my God, war ho gaya, ab to petrol ke prices badhenge, ye hoga, wo hoga. Yes, Hormuz ko blockade kiya hua hai, no doubt about it. Petrol is going to be costlier. But half of our oil imports don't come from the Straits of Hormuz. They come through the Suez, and I would say I think it's about almost a third. It used to be higher, about 40%. Now it's about 32% of our oil comes from Russia. So I think opposition, yes, opposition को बोलना चाहिए, corner करे government को, लेकिन यार facts के साथ करो. So I think rather than spreading panic, rather than saying कि we are a vassal state now, अमेरिका की सुन रहे हैं और अब Russian oil लेना खत्म कर दिया, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. We are a robust, strong nation that takes care of its strategic interests, and we're not going to run out of oil. We have multiple places from which we are importing oil. Middle East was a major one, but Russia is another. And I think you are possibly going to see more and more oil being, the conduit would be more and more the Suez Canal rather than the Hormuz.
And, the US, saying things like, हमने India को बोला that don't buy Russian oil, and India complied. And now we are giving India permission to buy Russian oil.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about this whole, because that's an ammunition that is landing right into the opposition's hand, really.
Yes.
Saying that, okay, you listen to Trump and you stop buying Russian oil. But we never did stop buying Russian oil, right? Can you just sort of elucidate that for our viewers?
It's like, for example, if Trump says tomorrow that we are allowing Aditi to a 30-day window to buy her, saris. Would you say कि हाँ, thank you so much Trump, आपने, अगर आप नहीं कहते तो मैं साड़ी नहीं खरीदती. मतलब it's like a nonsensical argument. Americans can say whatever they want. We are allowing this window. We've never stopped buying Russian oil. And in fact, till a week ago, we were buying almost 1.1 million barrels a day. Of course, it is less than what we were buying 6 or 7 months ago. But please remember that the oil tariffs, which were hypocritical, by the way, by Trump, 25% extra tariffs जो लगा दिए थे. And that was in, I think, August 9th or 7th of 2025. So it's been almost 6 months. We never stopped buying Russian oil. We've never said we are going to stop buying Russian oil, despite America saying कि हमने अब वो कितना 2-3 हफ्ते पहले हमने वो 25% हटा दिए हैं और हम निगरानी रख रहे हैं. We are on the watch. If India starts to buy Russian oil, we are going to impose even higher tariffs. India continue to buy Russian oil. They haven't, leave alone increased upon 25%. They haven't slapped those 25% tariffs back. So I think there's one thing I would, accept. By accept, I mean as a citizen of India, that I don't know why India does not stand up to Trump and say कि यार क्यों झूठ बोल रहे हो. पर ये एक तरह से अब मुझे लगता है उनका ये स्ट्रैटेजी / मास्टर स्ट्रोक बन गया है, क्योंकि ट्रम्प ने हर बार जब भी माइक मिलता है कहता है कि मैंने वॉर रुकवा दिया, 8 प्लेन गिर गए थे, सीज फायर मैंने करवाई. पेटेंटली नॉट ट्रू. But Modi has never, stood up and said कि you are lying, or any minister. Modi has stood up in the parliament in his speech and said, no president made us do the ceasefire. So oblique reference देके किया. अब वो यार मैं होऊंगा तो मैं तो चढ़ के बोलूंगा क्यों झूठ बोल रहा है, लाइन पे आ जाए, But Modi has decided not to say that. That's fair enough. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. If we had stopped buying Russian oil, तब ऑपोजिशन कह सकता था हाँ देखो यार ये देखो स्लेव बन गए और ये ट्रम्प के वो बन गए and all that कर रहे हो, बट ऐसा नहीं है.
Having said that, now after this entire controversy is broken out, everybody who's anybody is talking about energy security and India's whatever on social media and everywhere else. That's something really that the government of the day should probably, or experts should be analyzing rather than armchair experts.
नहीं मैं भी आर्मचेयर ही हूँ.
हाँ आप भी armchair ही है, given that you are a scientist and you foray into everything else. But more broadly, what should India be doing about its energy security? We talk about Atmanirbharta all the time. Should we be putting more money where our mouth is in sort of looking at more sources of energy, oil within the country? We have a lot of natural resources. Going forward, is that the way forward, do you think?
Look, I think the way forward for India is very clear. And this is one thing where I think Modi has to be praised. Our strategic energy interests have been very well thought out, I would say, going into the future. I'll give you just one data. In 2014, our solar installed capacity was 2 gigawatts. Okay,
Wow, that's
nothing.
nothing, zero.
A week ago, it is 100 gigawatts, 50 times. And the renewable energy target has been set to, I think, about 600 gigawatts, 500 gigawatts by 2027, 29 or something like that. We're going to meet that. And you have the nuclear opening up of the entire nuclear energy sector. We need to look at avenues where we are, if not completely self-reliant, almost there. And I think any country that does that, at least the citizens feel safe. अभी ये देखो क्या हुआ, मतलब ऑर्मूज को ब्लॉक कर दिया, सबका बैंड बज गया. वो भी ब्लॉक किसने किया? जो कि अमेरिका से 100th पावर है उसकी.
Right.
So, you know, anything can happen, and we know about the 70s. You know, the similar thing happened, the Iran crisis and the Yom Kippur war. People can hold you by the neck, and the first thing they do is they hold your energy requirements.
Choke your oil supplies.
They completely. तो उसमें 2-3 sectors. अब France है, for example. You look at the hypocrisy that's going on. I'll just take a minute to explain this. When the Russia-Ukraine war happened, it was America that implored us to buy Russian oil. हम पहले 2% खरीदा करते थे, अब 40% हो गया उसके बाद. क्यों? Because he wanted to stabilize the oil prices. हमने खरीदना शुरू किया. Europe खरीद रहा है. China was... So Europe and China were buying more Russian energy than India was. उन पे slap नहीं किया tariff. हम पे 25%
Correct.
America was buying Russian oil. America was buying Russian energy. America is buying uranium. America is buying a host of minerals from Russia. Continued to. Years into the Ukraine war. लेकिन इंडिया को वो तो एक तो hypocrisy आ गई, but everyone's hypocritical. So that's not the question. The question is, going forward, do we feel safe when a lot of our energy is oil-based? And the simple question is no. You look at how Europe was almost writhing, begging for Russian energy, but France, 80% of its energy is nuclear energy, you know?
Yeah.
So there are nations that plan years ahead, and they are the ones who are more reliant. Up, for example, Germany discourages nuclear energy. उनका अपना वो है, चलो मान लिया. लेकिन जब वो स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्री से लेती है, एनर्जी लेती है, वो वहां पे न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी बना रही है. तो जर्मनी कैन टेक इन, मतलब हाँ खुद नहीं बनाएंगे लेकिन न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी की एनर्जी ले. सो द होल वर्ल्ड इज अ हिपोक्रिटिकल प्लेस. इफ यू वांट टू बी sit on a stool next to a high table, it's your choice, but drag a chair and bloody sit on the table. That is what we need to do.
Another incident that perhaps this one raises several uncomfortable questions for this government, and that is about the torpedoing by a US submarine of the Iranian Navy frigate. Now, some critics argue that India could have done more to prevent this incident because it's happened so close to its maritime borders and to a nation, to a ship and to the sailors who were really marching on the coast of Vizag, just a couple of days ago. What do you have to say about that?
So इसमें I won't blame the opposition because we are so used to, मतलब हर चीज जो वो करनी है उसको बनाना है कि ये हाय ये क्या कर दिया, छाती पीटना शुरू कर देंगे. What surprised me were a lot of non-left, not pro-BJP, but people I look up to for their opinion and this thing. They got it wrong. A lot of them, I wouldn't name them, but a lot of journalists as well, in their enthusiasm कि यार ये क्या कर रहे हो आप. I don't know why that happened, because the facts completely talk of an opposite picture. Let me give you an analogy. Let's say you invite me to a wedding, not your wedding, a week ago you invited, and I came and I parked my car in your driveway. Fine, everything was fine. There were 80 guests, and then you were a very gracious host and I was a guest, and I loved the occasion, and then I went back, I drove back. A week later, which was this morning, I had parked that same car on a public road in Delhi, kilometers away, 30 kilometers away from where your wedding was, and the car got stolen. how the hell is
How am I responsible?
मतलब मैं कहूंगा कि आदित्य ने ये करवाया, आदित्य बोलो इस पे, रिपोर्ट लिखवाओ ये। अच्छा, मैंने आपको फोन भी नहीं किया जब चोरी हुई, ऑब्वियसली 1 हफ्ता हो गया, मैंने पुलिस को फोन किया। So that is exactly the scenario what happened. So they were our guests. There were 3 Iranian warships, but all 3 of them were our guests in this Milan, that was the naval exercise.
Right.
And they were armed, by the way. And TOI reports also say that they were live firing that happened. So it is totally wrong to say that they were unarmed. ये बीच में हमारे लोगों ने चला दिया था कि unarmed थे, निहत्थे पे वार कर दिया, ये सब पूरा का। They were armed. They are traditionally one of the most modern warships from the Iranian Navy, and they carry a lot of surface-to-air missiles, anti-ship missiles, and so many other things, torpedoes. They were armed. They left our shores. 1 हफ्ता हो गया। हमारा जो मैरीटाइम बॉर्डर है उसको छोड़ दिया उन्होंने, हमारा जो EEZ है, इकोनॉमिक जोन है, उसको छोड़ दिया उन्होंने। They were in international waters. अब Indian Ocean is not India's ocean, you know. So, for example, we control only 3.2% of the Indian Ocean total territory. 97.2% or 97.8% is not in our legal control. उस एरिया में ये शिप था. It was hit by not us, by its enemy currently at war. It did not send an SOS to us. How the hell are we responsible? और compare करिए, जो दूसरा उसका sister ship था, that also started sailing. I think Lavan was the one. Yeah, this was Dena, that was Lavan. It sent an emergency request to us. Within 24 hours, we responded. I think February 28th, it sent the request.
And
1st of March, we responded before the Dena got torpedoed, right? And under Indian naval safeguard, it entered Indian waters. We escorted it to Kochi. That is where right now it is docked. 183 crew are absolutely well and safe. Maybe they're playing cricket. I don't know what they're football. That is how we responded. I'm proud of the Indian Navy. तो इसमें हमने कहाँ गलती करी मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा. You know,
I think the issue that's being raised is that diplomatically we hosted them.
Yes.
And therefore, and you know, there is a Mahasagar vision of Prime Minister Modi, where India is supposedly a preferred security partner in the Indian Oceans, or we sort of put ourselves out as a preferred security partner. But an incident like this challenges that very notion of India being the preferred security partner in the Indian Ocean. Does it do that? I mean, I buy your argument about how are we responsible. It happened a week after it happened in international waters. We didn't even get an SOS. And the Iranian ship that did send us an SOS, we went out and helped it within 24 hours. Completely all right. But in a larger perception-wise thing, there is the Mahasagar vision. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, but you know, as I said, हम कितना भी महासागर कह लें, we control legally only 3% of Indian Ocean. So how are we? If anybody said it, maybe said it metaphorically, or I know Modi said it, we are guardians of Indian Ocean. यार आप कितना भी guardian बन लो, you will only be legally guardian of 3% of the total Indian Ocean area. So let's be realistic about it. In that 3%, if something had happened and we had not reacted, yes, of course, I would say that this is wrong. But we did. And the fact of the matter is, out here, it's not, so for a day, it went, they were unarmed. They were armed. TOI की reports खुद कह रही हैं. Naval reviews ये कह रहे हैं, they were armed. There are videos.
Yeah.
Okay, so of them taking part in live exercises. उसके बाद ये चला कि भाई हम गेस्ट थे उनके, ये देखो परेड कर रहे हैं मुंबई के स्ट्रीट पे. तो मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ भाई, 1 हफ्ता हो गया, आप कब तक, वो एक पिक्चर नहीं थी, अतिथि तुम कब जाओगे?
There is some, there 180 people dead, so we probably should be laughing. But having said that, I understand. I understand.
Till what time would you continue to call them as our guests? So I think a week is a long time. They've exited our waters. So, you know, that's how I look at it. Again, as a layman, but I think let's put the facts on the table. You know?
Right. Let's talk about the Indian Ocean and the fact that you said that we control just 3% of it. And it's the Indian Ocean, not India's ocean.
Yeah.
There has been foreign military presence in the ocean for decades, from Diego Garcia to German bases and etc. Can you explain to our viewers, you know, what exactly are these bases and why so much of the Indian Ocean is occupied by these foreign forces?
So this is, I don't want to talk about colonial past because it goes way beyond that. I mean, of course, the British at one point of time ruled Britannia. They ruled the seas and everything. In fact, there is currently a big controversy going on between America and Britain because America is accusing Britain of selling off, these strategic islands. And I think Diego Garcia is one of them that is under contention. There's another one, I forget the name, Chagos or something.
Chagos.
That's right, So they basically are strategic islands to maintain their hegemony over, basically just to display their power. कि आप वहाँ पे Falklands, for example. अब कौन कहेगा कि भाई Falkland में अंग्रेज ट्रेडिशनली रहते थे, कुछ नहीं है, जो भी है, अर्जेंटीनियंस भी नहीं रहते, जो भी बात है. But you remember what happened in the 80s. You had Argentina taking over Falklands, and within, I think, a matter of 4 or 5 days, you had the entire British fleet moving towards it, and they won that war. Why would Britain go all the way thousands of miles off to Falklands? Iske do reasons. A, to display their power. Second thing is, when you control that area between Falklands and the South American continent, that area is also yours. That EEZ is also yours. And they suddenly discovered huge reserves of oil there. वो सब उनका हो गया, So there are multiple reasons why people want to, keep that control on these islands. Let's not also forget that, what's that string of pearls strategy that China has, trying to wrest Sri Lanka away from our traditional bonhomie with it.
I think Sri Lanka after Hambantota is already halfway through.
For example, you look at, and now there's a big thing about the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We want Andaman and Nicobar to be extremely strategic, given China's designs and, what's happening in the East. It takes special significance. So, usme bhi politics shuru ho gaya. For example, Sonia Gandhi wrote recently a very, I don't know, incendiary article that why is India not looking at the environmental interests? यार, अब यहाँ वो करने पेड़ उगाने लग जाते तो कहते यार हमारे डिफेंस का क्या हो गया? So you can't win. The point is, if the opposition is rational and logical, I'll not just stand with them. I'll be the vanguard. But please be that,
Let's come to the last point and let's talk about India's response to Ayatollah Khamenei's death. And it was a subdued response. Some academics and even commentators, of course, are arguing that, India is tilting more towards the US-Israel axis and sort of abandoning its friend Iran in this situation. What are your thoughts?
So, pehle to it's I kind of I'm not saying I liked, because it's whatever happened is not something to like or dislike. Somebody died and a war is happening. But I can appreciate, let's put it that way, India's guarded response, to the killing of Khamenei. What got my goat was Indians' response to Khamenei. We'll come to that in a bit. But this thing about हमने अपने ही friend को दगा दे दी, धोखा दे दिया, कैसा सिला दिया तूने मेरे पे. भाई ईरान और इंडिया का it's a give and take relationship. आज के ज़माने में कोई ऐसे friend नहीं है. और अगर आप दोस्त की बात करोगे तो इजराइल ने हमारी ज्यादा मदद करी है ईरान के बजाय. ठीक है, हमारे you can say that, oh, our friendship goes back thousands of years. That's trade. We've been trading with 100 countries. अब ईरान के साथ क्या था 1971 war में? It was Israel, Aditi, that helped us. In fact, you look at the Aksar papers, you look at Golda Meir's and her conversation with Mrs. Gandhi. Most of our Arab friends, so-called friends, including Egypt, I think Iraq notwithstanding, they ditched us, sided with Pakistan. Israel supplied us with absolutely critical ammo. The same thing happened in on the eve of Kargil war.
Yeah.
There were US sanctions. Ignoring them, Israel gave us, absolutely crucial laser-guided ammo and bombs and everything that turned the tide of the war. Where was Iran then? Didn't help us. Operation Sindhura bhi hua hai. Only 2 countries supported us, Taiwan and Israel. Where was Iran then? And the same Khamenei was the one shouting from the rooftops with, absolutely blatant propaganda that this Hindu Rashtra is massacring, I'm paraphrasing him, massacring Muslims in Kashmir, and it's an oppressive state. So given that background, please don't call it a friend or we've dished a friend. No, this is not our war. But I don't shirk away from being critical of whatever is happening. अगर हमारा war भी नहीं है, I'm not a diplomat और बनूंगा भी नहीं कभी. The point is, he was a tyrant, not just of his explosive remarks, unwelcome remarks against India. यार 1 महीने पहले उसने अपने 30,000 लोगों को मारा है. Okay, streets पे मारा है, कत्लेआम किया है. And you are saying that we should condole his death and immediately like a host of other things. So that's India's response. Now let me come to Indians' response. And I think that has left me disappointed, but of course that's the reality. Why should tens of thousands of Indian Muslims pour onto the streets, mourning, celebrating, eulogizing a man who his own countrymen consider as tyrants? I mean, out here you have Indian Muslim women crying over his death, and out there his picture printouts are being burnt and, cigarettes being lit by Iranian women. So, know the man before you, and if at all, first of all, this thing about that Shias must have a leader, I mean, they don't have a Pope-like figure, right? And if at all the Shias want to look up to someone, a leader, a spiritual leader, let it be Al-Sistani. He's a very moderate person and he's in Najaf in Iraq. This guy was a politician. He was a tyrant to his own people. He was a dictator, and the kind of things that he said against India notwithstanding. So, this pouring out was, I think here I don't just fault the people who are coming out. Maybe they're misinformed. Maybe they act in one en masse. But what is the Indian state doing? And I'll tell you, the Indian state is doing nothing, because they were mourning Khamenei. But almost 6 months ago, the same set of people were mourning Nasrallah. Nasrallah was a terrorist. He was the head of Hezbollah. उससे पहले वो याया जो भी नाम था उसका पैलेस्टीनियन वाले का. उससे पहले अभी 12th of March is the day when the bomb blasts happened in Mumbai. 257 people were killed. Yaqub Memon, the terrorist. Tens of thousands poured on for his funeral. So, Indian state is weak and cowardly. आप कब तक लोगों को दोष देते रहोगे?
Okay, and the cowardly state that you're talking about here, in this case, the Indian state, in terms of the response, and let me just come back to the response, because as a government, we are friends with Israel, we are friends with the Gulf countries, we are friends with Iran, we are friends with the US, we are friends, and in
Did you know anyone in your class who was friends with everyone? No.
Everyone in my team only doesn't like me. They're like, oh,
ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है?
Okay, but we are friends with everyone.
Yes.
And in that friends with everyone situation, maybe you and I can afford to be critical and say, okay, the government should have done something, condemned the killing of Khamenei. At the end of the day, he was the head of the state. It's like kidnapping Maduro. It's the same thing. You just don't swoop in and kidnap another head of state.
Yes.
He may be a drug lord, he may be whatever you think he is. But having said that, in a conflict like this, is strategic ambiguity, which is what the Indian government displayed, from the government point of view, that's perhaps always the more pragmatic option, rather than going in with all guns blazing one side or the other.
And not only that, it has always been India's case. You tell me, in the last 80 years, in a so-called rules-based world, America has orchestrated 25 regime changes. 25. All right? When have we criticized America for even one regime change? We've never, traditionally. It's your problem. I would say that what you're doing is wrong. But India has never. अभी भी आप देख लो. अच्छा, इसमें opposition को भी मैं उसी कटघरे में रखूंगा. Because China right now has interned 1.5 million Muslims, Uyghur Muslims, in concentration camps, by all accounts. Amnesty or wohi left caves, you also know that. They're feeding them pork. They're pushing alcohol in their mouths. They're forcibly sterilizing them. They've broken down 1,700 mosques and minarets in the last 5 years. Have you heard any protest from Congress? Leave alone BJP. Not a squeak. From AIMIM. Israel के झंडों पे तो चलते हैं वो, China के झंडों पे चलेंगे. So everyone displays that. It's just that इसमें मैं चुप रहूंगा, तुम क्यों चुप हो? उसमें तुम क्यों चुप थे? मैं बोल रहा था. So, and I could totally appreciate कि यार, we have our own strategic interests. we deal with hundreds of dictators. अब कल को मैं ये कहना चाहूँ कि यार आप क्यों नहीं बोल रहे हो वो डिक्टेटर को सऊदी अरेबिया डेमोक्रेसी है क्या? You know, leave Saudi Arabia. Is Singapore a democracy? अगर ऐसे आप लिस्ट बनाते रहोगे तो आपके और हम सबसे फ्रेंडली हैं, दोस्त कौन बचेगा?
True.
You remember that who's it, Khashoggi, the journalist who was sliced this thing? Did India say anything? India didn't say anything, you know.
And that's perhaps how governments need to function. It's your nations.
Did Congress demand India to say something against Saudi Arabia in that Khashoggi incident? No. So,
On that note, thank you so much for today's show. We're going to talk about every week, viewers. Every week, we're going to bring up the burning hot button topics of the week.
and all right, such a pleasure.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much.